I have about 250 hours of Wraith since Deadlock has come out, and I think I've created one of the best guides that you could possibly have in the current patch that we got going on right now. So let's get into it. I think I've created one of the top Deadlock guides for Wraith. This guide is purely Assassination build, which you can pretty much use this for everything. But Wraith is very, very good at split pushing. She's really good at taking one lane, pushing it all the way down to the Flame Walker. And if anyone comes near her or tries to stop her, she is one of the best 1v1ers in the game currently. So with this build, this will allow you to not only escape from people, this will allow you to assassinate whoever comes your way. I will explain how the build is going to be working down in pretty much a money order is what I'm going to try my best at. But for the core item of the build where your power boost really goes next level is this item right here, Shadow Weave. With Shadow Weave, you become invisible for 25 seconds, which is insane when you really think about how much 25 seconds is of being invisible. This allows you to reposition and get near wherever you need to get to assassinate your target. You're invisible for 25 seconds. When you get out of it being invisible, you get 40% fire rate and 55 spirit power. This is insane. I've said that word probably about 30 times already, but the reason why this is so good is when you think about it, you get 30% more ammo, 300 spirit shield, but you get 40% fire rate in the 55 spirit power. If we go to the spirit tab and we look at a 9700 item, that is 60 spirit power. This is giving you plus 55. So for 5 less, you're getting that one item. Not only that, if we look at an item called Burst Fire, which is right here, this boosts your fire rate to 42%. With just this one item of Shadow Weave, you are getting as much spirit power as Boundless Spirit and as much fire rate as a Burst Fire. When we really combine that and we really look at that, this makes you just insane. Now that we have kind of our power creep, we're going to break down the build. So your first 1,000 souls when you're in lane, you always want to get Ammo Scavenger and Extra Charge. When you get the Ammo Scavenger with Extra Charge, you most likely are going to be at this point putting up 2 points into your card, 1 point here and 1 point here. Not that we necessarily need to talk about points, but I'm just doing an item build. At this point, the main reason that you want Ammo Scavenger is when you farm up Ammo Scavenger, you get about 20 spirit total. If you look at this item, Mystic Burst, that is usually the bonus damage that we're looking for. A lot of people I see build Mystic Burst and they usually throw their card out. But what happens is with Ammo Scavenger, if you farm up correctly, you get 20 spirit and every single one of your 3 cards on a continuous being able to like continually throw them will hit as hard as a Mystic Burst. So you don't have to wait for the 6.2 second passive. The Extra Charge is just really good. I never really get rapid recharge. This is just really good early. You might even want to sell it one, if you really want to, but at this point you really don't need to in this build. So those are your 2 items. The next 1,000 that you're going to get, so 2,000 total souls, but 1,000 more is going to get extra stamina and basic magazine. Sprint boots I leave there for a optional choice. You don't need to do it, you don't need to have it. I think it's nice if you want to pick it up, sure, but the reason why extra stamina is I cannot tell you how many times that stamina has saved my life. That extra movement ability where you can dash and then slide or get that extra jump, whatever it may be. That one stamina is a game changer for me personally as a player, and I think this will really help you guys out as well. Not only that, but you do get the 7% fire rate and the 14% stamina recovery, which means you can dash and slide more and more. And that will help you in this build as we continue on. At this point, we're in the beginning still of our laning phase, but now we're going to get to our first 3,000 item. It is going to be Tesla Bullets. Tesla Bullets is going to allow you to farm the waves, farm the creeps, really apply pressure around the map where you can push in a wave really, really quickly, go farm your jungle creeps, come back to your lane, and still be able to not miss a wave or be able to clear jungles really, really quickly. That gets you that spirit advantage. That is really, really important, especially with, you being a solo lane pusher. You want to just go in and assassinate. You can get to your assassination point quickly as possible. So this is an optional, right? And when we get to this point, it's going to be optional. Your 2,500 or your 3,000. When you get to 2,500, depending if you're way, way ahead, depending if you're on track, or depending if you're behind. If you're behind or on track, I typically like to go active reload, bullet lifesteal. If I am very ahead, I'll just take that 3,000 and I want to be really, really aggressive. No one's really stopping me. I'm not really taking too much damage and I'm obliterating my opponent. I'm getting burst fire. Burst fire is going to get you a huge power boost early, and that's really, really why I like it. Before you get Shadow Weave, this is kind of like not your mega power boost, but this is definitely up there in terms of a power boost. So when I get that burst fire or vice versa, I get active reload and bullet lifesteal. Usually the next item that I'm going to be going for is either or. So if I got burst fire, I'm getting active reload and bullet lifesteal. If I got active reload and bullet lifesteal, I'm getting burst fire. Now, at this point in the game, you do need a flex slot. If you do not have a flex slot available, you can take another 2,500, which is a very, very low amount, and go ahead and get bullet resist shredder and suppressor. These are both really good items that stop, let's say, a haze or an ivy or just anybody from 25 slow rate on their shot. It's going to take a lot less damage. And obviously bullet resist shredder, you have Tessa bullets that's going to be proccing that. So both of these are a great pickup. I think that's a very cost-efficient way. Now, if you notice, I do have toxic bullets in this build. I tend to always build this just because a negative 65% lifesteal on anything is just really good, especially if you're brawling in a 1v1 assassination build. You do not want them to get away. You do not want them to heal. So I do have that in the build. I'll explain when you get that or when you want to. So if you don't have a flex slot and you don't have Shadow Weave, a lot of times what you could do is your basic magazine is the item you're going to sell for anything. Basic magazine gives you the 24% ammo and the 15% weapon damage. Obviously, the weapon damage is really, really nice, but you'll get more value out of toxic bullets and you'll get way more value out of Shadow Weave. So this will be the sacrificial lamb, if you will, to give you that power boost that you need if you don't have a flex slot. If you do have a flex slot, which we're going to unlock these bad boys right here. There it is. You do have a flex slot. We're going to go ahead and get Shadow Weave. When we get Shadow Weave, you know, it depends right now. If you're way, way ahead, like I said, Shadow Weave is going to be your buy. Then it's going to be bullet resist shredder into suppressor or vice versa. At this point, you're now set up. This is a perfect build, in my opinion. The best part about this build is, let's say you really need toxic bullets, then you can still sell basic magazine and still buy toxic bullets, and you'll still be able to keep your flex slot. So you'll still be able to use that flex slot that you have and not go overboard getting that toxic bullets. But for the most part, this is going to be how it's going to be working out. At this stage of the game, you are already online. How the combination is going to work right now with this. I like to level up my 3 because, again, I like the assassination build where I get the bullet lifesteal. This will be level 2. I like having this at level 1, not level 2, so we'll just take that away. I like to have this at level 1 because of the cast range, but for the most part, this is what we're looking at right here. How the opener is going to look, we're going to press our invisibility. The second that we see this person right here, we're going to go ahead. Also, they can see you in an 18-meter radius, so it's that red line right there. So you want to make sure if you are going to assassinate someone and you don't want them to see you, and before they get to this line where they can just maybe use an ability and walk away, I use this where I will dash into them, toss my ult, pop my 3, and just start shredding. And then your 3 is still going, boom. So by that point, though, they are probably most likely already dead. Now, if you saw that damage, we're not even at full build. When we get to this point of the build, I am trying to break down everything as much as possible to explain why I get it, when I get it. For the most part, I will always build in this exact order that I'm giving you, with obviously burst fire and active reload and bullet lifesteal and bullet resist shredder suppressor for before Shadow Weave. Like, it just kind of depends on where you at for the game. If you have another flex slot available, this is up to you on this portion. There's a lot of different ways that we can build here if I'm taking a lot of damage. You can obviously get bullet armor, spirit armor. This will increase your health by 28% and give you spirit power and give you weapon damage. So this is all pretty good items for the most part, and it fills out your vitality tab. So at this point, 11-17, you go, I mean, at this point, we're probably ready to train. We're probably up here. We'll just do like this. Like I said, you know, we're probably looking at an extra 400 HP or something along those numbers. At this point in the game, if I'm really want to be an assassin build, I'm not in danger, I just want to be as aggressive as possible, the two options you can go with is toxic bullets or curse. Curse is insane. insane with this build. The main reason why Curse is so perfect is you have Yamato, if you have a Dynamo, if you have a Pocket, if you have a Mirage, if you have any hero with an escape ability, this is what it looks like. You press your invisibility, they cannot see you. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to use your Curse into your ultimate ability, into your 3, and you're going to absolutely shred. So it's going to look like this. Dash into it, Curse, alt, and then this. And then that's how it goes. So they're usually cursed by the time they are getting out of your ultimate ability. The curse is a short cooldown. It's 3.25 seconds, but you're wasting about maybe a half a second to a second casting your ult in the first place. So you want to aim for the head when you do this, obviously. This is going to be part of your assassination build. That is massive. And now if you don't need curse that early and you find yourself wanting toxic bullets, you can build toxic bullets, but usually your build is going to look like this at this point. Now, again, if you want some tankiness to it, bullet armor, spirit armor, and this final item is completely up to you. If you want debuff remover, if you want unstoppable, ethereal shift, if you want even an item that I don't even think I have in here, metal skin is obviously really, really good in case you're dealing with a haze, whatever it may be. Escalating resilience is another fine item that gives you fire rate, weapon damage, and it also gives you 40% bullet resist. So if you want to be a little tankier, but still want a little bit damage without having to go full support and build yourself a green item, such as metal skin, you can get a little more damage and do this. But for the most part, if I want to go, again, full damage, I'm going crippling headshot. Crippling headshot reduces the bullet resist and spirit resist. Your ultimate ability at this game, at this endpoint game, you are AoEing, ulting, and you are the full assassin. Now, you're probably not going to max out the rest of this build, but for the most part, you're going to be swapping out pieces like ammo scavenger for improved burst because you're not farming souls to max out your ammo scavenger. You're probably going to get your superior stamina finally. Why not? You have endless amounts of money at this point. And finally, for your weapon, you can sell basic magazine and get any other 6,300 or 3,000 item that fits your fancy, that tickles you, whatever. I don't care. That was weird for all of us involved. Skip that. But for the most part, we're selling basic magazine. You can get, pristine emblem. You can get ricochet to get, whatever reason. Vampiric burst is a solid recommendation. But if we keep the build for exactly what it is, at the end game, your full assassination build looks like this. Oh yeah. Absolutely shredding. On top of that, if you look, my cards are still doing 200. So if you're shooting people, you're throwing cards out, cards are still really, really, really important. So this is an insane build that I've found that has helped me win high MMR games as high as 1,800 if you use TrackLock as a website. I am top 100 at the moment filming this video, so that is pretty cool. But for the most part, like I said, this will elevate your gameplay big time just by adding a couple more actives into your build. Like I said, like using Curse, using Shadow Weave. It's two very simple items. You use your Shadow Weave, you see your assassination target, you curse them first, you ultimate, you pop your 3, and you just look at them fold. Pretty much at that combination, there is nothing they can do. They're pretty much dead. And if they do try to run, you toss your cards out at them and get them killed. Now, one important thing that I will say about the cards that not a lot of people know this, a little tip, is your cards work off of your mouse movement. So if I throw the card and I don't have a locked on target, it won't lock on directly to that target, right? So if I throw my card and you see that little lock on, it'll always stay locked on no matter where they're moving. Now, if I throw the card, I can spin it. I can pretty much bring it around all the way if I wanted to, and then target. So I can control the card wherever it goes. I can spin it. I can bring it down wherever I want, but it goes off of your mouse. So next time when you throw a card, keep in mind that you can pretty much control it how you want. So a lot of times if you want to, you don't see anybody, you can throw the card around the car and bring it around like that. So if you know that they are going to show, or if they're hiding behind a piece of equipment, you can actually throw the card and bring it towards, bring it out and then bring it towards the car. And it can't escape this, so it has to explode, and that person will be right there. So you can get some good damage in. So that's just kind of an advanced tip for Wraith if you wanted to get a little aggressive with it, but that's just how it works. So anyway, if this build helped you out, make sure to follow, subscribe, and watch me on twitch.tv, where I stream practically every day, like 8 to 10 hours a day, because I am unbelievably addicted to this game. I will be coming out with more guides, or trying to come out with more guides, but for the most part, I really, really enjoy this. Now, one little thing that I also forgot to mention is definitely Mystic Slow. Mystic Slow is going to slow them by 30% and lower their fire rate, so it just makes them easier to hit. Now, again, you can tinker with this build as much as you possibly want. You can throw in some pieces that you don't like if, you know, you find a way. But for the most part, this build is going to help you win most of your games. And as the patches continue and as things go on, we're going to change it up. But it's going to be changed up inside the build that you can look up yourself inside the Browse Builds tab, looking up Noko-Assassination build. So again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and have a great day. I got him. How does it feel to get tower dove, bitch?